Hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes, and this is the Daily Brief. And today I'm going to be brief. About 750 Russian soldiers off the battlefield, but it seems to have been slowing down from a pace of about 1,000 a day for the last few weeks. Russia fires 31 missiles at Kyiv in the first attack in weeks, but Ukraine intercepts them all. Just because they intercepted them all doesn't mean that they hit. They knocked them down, but they can still hit somewhere and cause damage. Or it's not just completely blowing them out of the sky. Three food industry enterprises were damaged in the missile attack on Kyiv, but that's probably better than whatever they were aiming at. There were a number of cars as well. 50 units of motor transport were affected. That's cars on the streets. Now, one thing that might have been causing it was that Jake Sullivan was in town, and so we see this headline: Missile attack on Kyiv could be a Russian response to meeting of security advisors to discuss a peace formula, but I don't think that's it. I think what's actually going on is this. EU leaders kick off a two-day summit in Brussels on March 21st, that's today, to discuss measures to boost the bloc's defense industry and supply Ukraine with desperately needed ammunition. Okay, here's another headline in The Guardian. EU leaders urge to put economies on a war footing at Ukraine negotiations. So generally, Putin's pattern, in my observation, has been when there's a big NATO meeting or Zelensky goes to Washington or something like that, there's wrath that falls on Kyiv. And so it's somewhat predictable. What was actually fired at it: 29 Kh-101 cruise missiles, 2 ballistic missiles were destroyed. They downed 31 out of 31, but again, downing doesn't mean that they're completely destroyed. So at any rate, in other news, the Netherlands is going to purchase munitions for F-16 aircraft worth 150 million euros. Now, so they're thinking ahead. The F-16s aren't even there yet, and they're thinking about, well, we need to make sure they have the weapons with the F-16s in order to bring effect to the battlefield. On the battlefield, they still don't have the artillery yet. I see some people talking about how, yeah, the artillery's arrived. No, read the headlines carefully, or read beyond the headlines and read the article carefully, and you'll find out that the artillery's on its way. It won't be there for another month or two, so it's going to be some time, and it's very difficult in the meantime. In the meantime, I keep seeing this popping up, or other things about mobilization, that Russia now plans to mobilize another 500,000. I would take it with a grain of salt, but I think it's coming, and that was a lot quicker than I imagined that it would be coming, if it is coming. So this is the first saber rattling about that they're going to be mobilizing, and we want to investigate just a little bit more before we say definitively what's going to happen. So when news breaks, we want to make sure that we're seeing what we're seeing. Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the coffees, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.